Good morning, welcome to our latest daily thought. Today I'm going to be reading from Luke chapter 24, verses 13 through to 24. So a few verses as we head towards the end of Luke's Gospel. So if you've got a Bible and you want to follow it, it's Luke chapter 24, verse 13 through to 24. It says this: On the road to Emmaus. Now that same day, two of them were going into a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. But they were kept from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" They stood still, their faces downcast. One of them, named Cleopas, asked him, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem who does not know the things that have happened there in these days?" "What things?" he asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed, before God and all the people. The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. And what is more, it is the third day since all of this took place. In addition, some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning, but didn't find his body. They came and told us that they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. Then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it just as the woman had said, but they did not see Jesus." You know, I find it fascinating to think about what it would have been like to live in those days, particularly the third day after Jesus had risen and had emptied the tomb. Imagine what it would have been like just being around and the news of the town, and everybody would have been talking about this thing. Everybody would have known that this man Jesus had been crucified. Many would have known him to be a good man. Some would have been maybe happy that he'd gone. Some would have been feeling guilty. And those that followed him would have been feeling really sad and concerned and worried and angry and all the other emotions you can imagine. But Jesus so humbly just walks along and asks them, "What's going on?" And they say to him, "Don't you know what's happening? How could you not know what's going on?" And tomorrow we'll see what actually happens next in this story as we continue with these verses. But I want to challenge you again today. There's so many different parts of Luke's gospel in which we see Jesus almost asking people if they know who he says that he is true, asking people if they believe that he is who he says he is, and that's our question to all of us. You know, we believe that the man Jesus lived. He did. There's absolute historical evidence that he did, but it matters who we say, who we think he is, and it matters if we believe in who he said he was. That's what's really important. So I want to encourage you today, whether you believe in Jesus or not, to research it a bit more, because the truth is that Jesus is the Son of God. He is who he said he was. He did die, and as we read in this passage, he rose again on the third day, just as he predicted that he would. And he did it for all of us and for all of our sin, and that's good news. So join us again tomorrow as we continue. We've kind of paused halfway through that little story to see what happens next with Jesus and the two people that are wandering. We shall see you tomorrow.